Come on, get in! Jesus Christ, my throat is in bits. That was an absolute roller coaster of emotions watching that game, and it was one of the most, probably was absolutely the most stressful game to watch this season. But firstly, we've done it. We've secured the 3 points. 2-1 away from home, which is arguably one of the most difficult away days of the season. We've struggled there every time we usually go there historically. To get away with a 2-1 win, I'm absolutely buzzing. But for the second game in a row, it absolutely was not without its drama, which of course we will get into. But firstly, hit the like button, because Sunderland is still top of the league. I'm not too sure if it is... Well, we're 3 points clear, because Burnley have jumped into second with Leeds in third on 22 points, both of them. So we're still 3 points clear at the top of the league. And again, similar to Hull, it's one of those games where we absolutely weren't at our best. In fact, for a large portion of that game, it was men against boys. But it's the boys that won this time. The boys absolutely won. So getting into the game, we made the one change. Roberts was dropped to the bench and Rigg went out wide and Brown come into the midfield. Now, I don't really know, well, originally I was a bit confused as to why that would happen, particularly sticking Rigg out wide. I understood bringing someone like Brown, an experienced head, into this game because, you know, with Luton away from home, it's a hostile atmosphere. It's one of those physical battles you're going to come up against, and that's what they do. They're the most direct team in the league. It's very Sunday league, but they're very good at doing it. It must be horrible to be a Luton, well, obviously not horrible to be a Luton fan. You've only just recently been in the Prem, which of course we can only dream of at the minute. However, watching that style of football, I mean, I'd hate it to see that style of football, just pumping it into the box, just pumping and pumping and pumping constantly, just to the two front two. It's very old school, but it just isn't very easy on the eye. But either way, again, if it worked, from which it has done in the past, then, you know, all credit to them, fair play. But yeah, so we did make those changes. Regis Lebris did say in the pre-match presser to this, he mentioned about Roberts made a comment apparently after the game against Hull, and essentially said that he didn't expect to have so many one-on-ones with so much time, and he struggled with that, which I thought was a bit of a baffling comment with someone who is usually so good being one-on-one. But he did have plenty of one-on-one opportunities against Hull. And he did kind of he didn't really know what to do. I think he's used to being ganged up on and having 2 or 3 opposition players or doubling up on him or tripling up on him, and he likes to try and wriggle in between the tight spaces. But when he was just up against their left back against Hull, he did seem to struggle and he didn't really know what to do. So he'd try and cut inside or not, and then just go backwards. And he did look a bit lost in that sense. So don't know whether that was why he dropped him or whether he just wanted the experience of Brown in there. But getting into the game, the opening 2 or 3 minutes, I thought, right, we're flying here. We look the better team for the opening 2 or 3 minutes. I know it's only very early, but we had a great chance immediately. Some great work down the right-hand side. Brown gets at the byline, dummies his man, sits him on his arse, pulls it back to Dhannoo, just inside the box, around the edge of the box. And he needs to test the keeper a bit better. It looked like it was going over anyway. The keeper did get a touch to it, but it did look like it was swerving over. But it was a very, very good chance early doors. Another one, Mundle, literally within that opening couple of minutes here, Mundle gets it down to his byline. He puts it across goal after doing really, really well. He gets a block on originally, then it falls to Brown, but his back's to goal, so he tried to backheel it from a side angle, and he goes straight to the keeper. But then after that, it was literally 45 minutes, basically 45 minutes, of just being absolutely bullied. I'm going to say something here as well, and this just proves that I say this regardless of whether we win, lose or draw. That referee was absolutely fucking diabolical. It was an abhorrent performance from the referee, and honestly, and I know that they can let crowds maybe influence decisions and stuff like that, and of course they're a very physical side anyway, and I love more than anyone, I've said it many times, I love a good 50-50 challenge, I love a bit of shoulder barging, physicality, that's fine. But when it's literally things like, there was several times where, like Daniel for example, he's got the ball and then straight from behind him, a Luton player will just come up and just 2 hands on him, push him over, the ref is 5-6 yards away from the play and doesn't give it, yet Trey Hume will sneeze next to Chong, their left winger, and he acts as if it's a fucking attempted murder. Do you know what I mean? And that was just happening the whole game. Nothing was getting given. And don't get me wrong, again, the physicality, and we were soft as shit. There were challenges in there that were totally fair, and we were just soft as shit. We weren't committing to challenges because their press was ridiculous, and we still persisted with trying to play out from the back, and we were just losing it and giving it away in really dangerous areas. But one thing I will say is they didn't make a huge amount of clear-cut chances. They would high press us, nick the ball off us, and then they'd just pump the ball open that Morris or Adebayo would get on it. And that was largely it. And they're trying to get the flick-ons and the nods down that didn't quite sit for them. Of course, they had a couple of little chances here and there, but it wasn't anything massive. But yeah, it was ridiculous. Every time we got the ball in that first half, we looked up and we shit ourselves. Every time we saw a Luton player in our face, we shit ourselves. Didn't know what to do. So we'd either just smash it out of play or just pump it straight to him. Or we just give the ball away in general, and no one wanted the ball. You could see that Luke O'Neill pick it up off Pato, or Meppan do the same, and no one would want the ball. They looked shit scared, or we'd literally go for the quick one. Daniel would come deep to get it, but then his pass would just go straight to a Luton player, and it was just that time and time again, and we're just getting bullied. And it was just all we needed was a bit of composure. And we would have been fine if you just beat that first press. Then you're fine, because as soon as we got them on the back foot, on the wings, we looked a lot better and we looked more dangerous, but we just didn't do it anywhere near enough. But that was pretty much the first half, which is watching them absolutely batter us. I mean, just physically. And again, I don't mean totally all the time, just dirty challenges or fouls or anything like that. But it was men against boys. That's what I mean. We got bullied, and that was it. And then just on the stroke half time, there was a disallowed goal, which at first glance I thought, although the officials have been absolutely terrible to us, I thought they've done us a massive favour here. And I thought they got it horribly wrong. But now looking back at the goal, the ball gets put in the box, it's bent in, and now I think they're number 16, Clark, I think it is, he's coming back from an offside position as it's bent into like an inward cross. He's coming back from an offside position, he's about 5 yards offside, and as he's coming back from an offside position, he's tried to head it, he's just missed it, but only just, but he is influenced in the play, because he's attempted to play the ball. Then it falls to Morris, totally free, and he volleys it in at the near post to what he thinks makes it 1-0, and the linesman puts his flag up, and obviously Morris gives him an absolute earful, as you'd expect. But I just think to myself when I see things like that, because he was giving the linesman absolute dog's abuse, same to the referee, right in his face, screaming, swearing, you can lip read everything he's saying, and then Dan Neil literally waves his hand for just a bit of frustration, and he gets booked for dissent, in past, and there's just no consistency with that kind of shit. But either way, second half is underway, and it's sort of more of the same. They had a brilliant chance early doors. We're trying to play it out from the back again, and they've managed to get it across to Adebayo, who's obviously a monster in the air. Same with Morris. You're not winning anything in the air. Meppan, to be fair to him, and again I'm going to say it, he was my man of the match again for me, Meppan. He's an absolute brick shithouse. He stood his ground, and for a large part of the game, he was the only one who really was standing his ground in terms of making the physical challenges, did not shy away from anything, and he was outstanding in that sense. Some class challenges again. His reading of the game is phenomenal, and he's turned into a hell of a signing, and I really hope we do go through it. I don't see how Ballard, and before the season started, I'm saying Ballard's our best defender. Of course, Luke O'Neill, of course, he is capable of having a bit of a shaky one here and there, and people call him a liability, but 9 times out of 10, Luke O'Neill gives you a 9 out of 10 performance. Do you know what I mean? But he just never gets spoken about. But then Luke O'Neill is just improving by the game, and Meppan's come in, and he looks just maybe even a better player than Ballard. He looks that good. He really is a Premier League defender, and he sticks out like a sore thumb in that sense. But yeah, so a ball, sorry, I've gone way off topic there. Ball come in from the right hand side after losing the ball again. Adebayo, about 6-7 yards out. The ball is probably a little bit too high for him, but he's managed to get enough on it. And it's a decent height for Pato to try and get onto it. Don't get me wrong, not taking it away from the save. It was an outstanding save. But yeah, they started off with a brilliant chance there. And I will say, Pato today, Jesus, I mean, some of him, his handling, he dropped it a couple of times. I know because they have such a high press, it's limited to what he can do in terms of his distribution. But he just smashing out of play time and time again. But then he'd pop up with a class save like he did. So it's just one of them with Pato. I just didn't know what you were going to get with him today. But we broke the deadlock, even though I could not see where the hell we're going to make a chance. and we did. So we managed to break forward, we managed to break the press, and we've nicked the ball off, and we give it to Rig, who found himself in acres of space in between the centre-backs. I didn't know where the hell they'd gone, they just parted. And I thought the chance had gone because he kind of got his foot on it and he's almost like stumbling a little bit. He dummies it once, he dummies it again, selling defenders twice, and then he just drills it into the near corner to make it 1-0. Absolutely buzzing, given I thought that we were going to get bullied. And I thought, at one point I just thought, dear God, please let us hold out for this 0-0 draw because we'd be lucky to get anything from here. But then I thought, we've got something to hold on to now. But then, less than 10 minutes later, they've gone up the other end, and my God, the defending, I was obviously giving compliments to Mepper and that, but everyone at the back, they're absolutely all over the place, and they managed to get one back, which it was so deflating. And then Mundell pops up. Mundell then pops up out of nowhere. They're driving forward, I think it was Chong. Hume with an outstretched leg, he nicks the ball away. And then we managed to break forward, get it to Mundell, cuts inside one, cuts inside another, sells another, and the shots, the beauty in this, the whip and the velocity, that's the word I was going for. I was in the middle of saying ferocious and velocity, so I went for ferocious. So we'll go for that one. It was a ferocious strike that just bent into that far corner. Beautiful, typical Mundell goal to make it 2-1. And we somehow managed to hold out. We saw the likes of Isidore, who had a frustrating game, I guess, because all it was is just pumping it up to him. He held it up a couple of times, but I would have liked him to be a bit more physical with them. But yeah, in that first half and early parts of the second, we couldn't really get him involved. We were trying, and we were trying to force it, and it wasn't really happening. But I think he did okay. Connolly come on, and I thought Connolly looked really good. At first I thought, he's tiny in comparison to their bloody titans at the back. But he actually held it up very well. He's quite a stocky lad, which we knew anyway. He's got the strength, and he held it up, and he held the ball up in tight position to manage to get away and wriggle away from him a couple of times. And he actually had an outstanding chance to make it 3-1. We put him pretty much through after nicking the ball off him again, and there's this gaping hole in between their centre-backs yet again. And he's going for it, and he seems a bit too... He just looked very laid back, given that he's in such a good goal-scoring opportunity. And then literally just before he's going to pull the trigger, their defender makes an outstanding challenge, sticks a leg in and manages to nick the ball away from him. But I just thought if he was a little bit more purposeful and maybe sharper, then it could have been 3-1, and it would have been the perfect ending to the game, and it would have been lovely to see Connolly get his first goal. But either way, he's done very well. When he did come on, we ended up bringing on Leo Hjeldo, who we haven't seen this season. We brought him on for the last few minutes, obviously just sort of just battle away and try and see the game out, and he's done his job there. There was goal mouth, scrambles, everything you can imagine. They're sending the keeper up. And eventually, finally, 5 minutes were added on, and they played 97 minutes, I think it were, plus. Their keeper come up. We managed to get the ball away. They had a great chance as well prior to this, where it was literally like the 95th, 96th minute. They've got the ball, they've got the flick on, and I think it was Clark. It was just absolutely lashed at it. He's tried to anyway. It's just an air shot, but any contact with the ball, that's hitting the back of the net. But luck was on our side this time. And then the full-time scenes, we're having a scrap on the pitch, which is obviously always great to see. Luke O'Neill literally throwing himself on the top of what was a huddle of players really trying to get to each other and kick 7 shades of shit out of each other. But Luke O'Nine's just Luke O'Neill, isn't he? And just as I say that, my light seems to break, which is absolutely phenomenal. But I don't give a shit. We're top of the league. So we'll leave it at that, guys. Chris Mepham is my man of the match for the night. Who was yours? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed, smash the like button, subscribe. Away the lads. Take care.